Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Amber here, and today is the day. The day I have been waiting for since I very first started this channel, and this is the kind of video I have always wanted to make. So as you could tell by the title and also my nice little setup here, this is my very first ever sketchbook tour. And sketchbook tours are one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel in the first place. I always have loved watching sketchbook tours on here, and it was around like December time last year that I was just obsessed with watching people's sketchbook tours, and I got so inspired and I thought, I'm going to start my YouTube channel. This is it. I'm actually going to do it, and the channel is going to be what helps me film my sketchbooks up. And well, a year and a little bit later, here we are, the first one. And I've also got another one here that is very close to being filled, my little art creation sketchbook. So this is the next one that hopefully I can do. But for now, this is my watercolour sketchbook. So it's a sketchbook that I made myself out of Arches, Arches 100% cotton, cold pressed watercolour paper. So I made this out of 24 sheets of that, so it's actually 12 sheets folded in half, so 24 pages. So this is going to be a watercolor sketchbook tour, and it might not be like, I feel like some of you might be watching and not actually class this as a sketchbook, because there are quite a lot of, well, mostly finished paintings in here, and a lot of the paintings that I've done in here have been inspired by this book. So it was around September time that I started this sketchbook, so altogether it's took me around 7 months to complete it, which is also like quite an accomplishment for me, and I haven't even been working in here that much recently, so I filled like nearly all of it up in September and October, and then I haven't really worked in here that much, but we can talk about that as we go along. But this is the book I bought around September time, and it has changed my art so much. I've been so inspired by this. I've talked about this in loads of my videos, including the last two, I think. But this is the Creative Abstract Watercolour book by Kate Rebecca Leach. And there is so many wonderful projects in here for being inspired by watercolour and abstract watercolour and textures and mark making and just all of that. So this book is one of the reasons why I've completed this sketchbook so quickly, really. So let's get started, I guess. I don't even want to hang around here because I'm just so excited. So if you have any questions about anything at all, just let me know in the comments, and yeah, we'll get started. So as I said, I made this sketchbook myself. I decorated all of the edges, and I think that's something that perhaps helped me to fill this sketchbook without worrying too much about ruining it, because I always had in mind from the very start was I can just make myself another one. It's okay. If anything goes wrong, I can just make myself another one, because I am one of those people who starts a sketchbook, I'll get a few pages in, I will do something that I really don't like, and then I'll shut that sketchbook and it will never be seen again. So I always knew that filling a sketchbook would be a really nice feeling, but honestly, on the day when I filled the final 2 pages in this sketchbook, which I did in my last video, I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing all day long. So I was very, very happy with myself. But yeah, let's get started. So, of course, swatch page to get started with. I started off with this one. So this is mostly the, I can't think of the name of them now. Oh, White Nights watercolours. So this was like my first sort of proper watercolour set that I curated myself, and I barely ever use anymore, because as soon as I got the Kuretake watercolours, I barely touched any of my other watercolours again, to be honest. So I thought I would swatch them all out so I could see what colours I actually had. So most of them are the White Nights watercolours, and then there's a few of the beautiful Roman small colours in here as well. And then we have the Holbein luminous watercolours. So I filled this sketchbook up. I filled this sketchbook page up quite recently actually, because I had like this big plan for this first page with like my intentions for the sketchbook, but I never actually completed any of those, any of that on this front page, so I just ended up doing swatches on it in the end. There are a few swatches in this sketchbook as well, and like I said, it's not even really like a sketchbook, it's more of a watercolour art book, but everything is just so intuitive, and I just had so much fun in here. So here I made a video all about the Kuretake Gansai Tambi granulating watercolours. I went and collected some leaves, some autumn leaves with my dogs, and then I came back and painted them. So that's also a video on this channel. And to be honest, I haven't actually gone back to these paints since I since I recorded this video, but I would quite like to. It's not really for any reason in particular. Here we have two projects from the Creative Abstract Watercolour book. So I just love how many ideas are in that book for experimenting with mark making and experimenting with colours. And another thing that you'll find throughout this entire sketchbook is I use colour palettes. So on my Instagram, every month I share colour palettes for you to use and be inspired by, and I think actually all of the artworks in this book are inspired by colour palettes from my Instagram colour palette prompts. So October colour palette prompts, apple palette and plum palette. So these were two of my favourite colour palettes. And yeah, I really like the box design here. So I started, when did I actually start painting in here? 27th of September it was, 2024. And I, at that time, me and my family run quite a large Halloween event in Northamptonshire in the UK, and obviously in the UK. And that is a very, very busy time for me, but also a very inspiring time. So I'm always very inspired by like night sky and Halloweeny sort of vibe things. So you'll see a little bit of that in this sketchbook. But it's a very, very busy time for me, and I don't have much time to create art once we get open with the event. So what I ended up doing was setting myself a page up, putting tape around the edges of my page, and we live in a really small caravan for about 2 months as well, so I never had much room or anything for my art supplies, so I only really had my watercolours and this sketchbook out at all times, and I would end up just having like little moments to do art at night time. So we would be open with the Halloween event, doing work all day long, and then I'd get in about 11:30, 12 at night, and I would just do like an hour of painting before bed. So it's kind of knackering, but also this was like what I lived for, you know, such work intensive days. And then I just enjoyed so much, I was so into this style of watercolour art that this is what I just enjoyed so much coming into at night time and in the day if I could spare an hour or so. But yeah, so I loved this colour palette. I love this watercolour paper as well, so this one was a lot of fun. Next up, I did some tests. So I bought my ideal colour palette, which is a lemon yellow, a quinacridone magenta and a phthalo turquoise. That is like a CMY palette. And these are all the colours here that you can get just from those 3 colours. So, and then if you add a white into the mix, you can really create like any colour you want pretty much. You could create like kind of like a tomato red. I love the greens you can create from this palette. I'd definitely like to experiment with this a little bit more. And then at this time then, well, was it this time? No. So I filled this page up after, but I got my very first Daniel Smith watercolour paints. So I've actually got more than this, but I just haven't filled this page up. So I should probably do that, but I might not do that now. So I think it's the next page. I made a video, maybe with this one and also with one on the next page as well. So I saw an idea for this on Instagram, and this was just so much fun. I loved letting all the colours blend into one another. And this is with also October colour palette prompts. These were with Magical Mushrooms palettes. Oh, yeah, it wasn't these, sorry, it was these two. So these have both got their own videos here on YouTube. I love this one and I love this colour palette. Then we come to another project from the book, the Creative Abstract Watercolour book, which was Irregular Pebbles. So this is super fun for experimenting with different kinds of colours together and seeing how different colours blend together. Here I did a full-on abstract painting. Love the colour here. This is called Undersea Green, this one. Or it could be the Green Apatite Genuine from Daniel Smith. But Daniel Smith's watercolours are absolutely magical. This was, I think, when I first got my Daniel Smith watercolours. So these two are probably my favourite pages in this sketchbook. This idea was one of those that come to me in the shower. So I was in the shower and I was like, oh my god, this is the best idea ever. So I had like a little piece of card which I cut into the playing card shape, and I just traced around it to create this. And I wanted to create like a tarot card inspired piece. And then this one, which is also a project from Kate's book, but I Halloweenified it. So I remember really fond memories of painting these two, actually, as they both took me a few nights, and this was when we was like full swing in opening at the Halloween event that we run. And I just remember coming in at night time and I just couldn't wait to sit down and do these paintings, and I just felt so Halloweeny and spooky, and I had like, it was really bad lighting around the little caravan, and it was just a really, really nice time, you know. And this little ghosty here is so cute. We add a little bit more colour. So this one was from a photograph that I took myself in the little farm shop near where we were. So first out of November. And I was still in the Halloween vibes a bit here, really. So this one here was another project from Kate's book. And I just can't tell you how much fun I've had with that book, and how much fun I continue to have with that book, and how it inspired me to create all of these other types of artwork. So I love doing artwork like this with my watercolours, where you leave a small line in between each section. I just find it's very easy for me to draw this way, and I don't know, I'm not amazing at sketching or anything like that. So for some reason, when I'm leaving like little gaps in between shapes, I can sketch way easier. I don't know if that really makes sense in my head, actually, but I think you get what I mean, hopefully. Then we have this one. So this is one of my favourites as well. So I love this colour palette. The Daniel Smith watercolours really are so magical. I've said that before on this channel as well. So you can see like these were done with the Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolours, and these, and although they're vibrant and they look really pretty, when you then go to the Daniel Smith, it's just like bam, you know, like, and these, like this one, it's just, the colours are just incredible. So another one from the book, Concentric Circles, I think that's what it's called. Is that what it's called? Wonky circles, more like. And then this one was one that came to me because I was still in the Halloween spirit, and I think this colour palette was inspired by sweets or candy. So I had like I made a colour palette with all candy and sweets on, so I wanted to do a painting to reflect that. So that was fun. I used the opera pink here a lot, and I love that. Next up, so this one was a lot of fun. I was really into and really inspired by Autumn Leaves at the time in November, and that background there with all of the, so I think I used the undersea green and, well, all sorts of greens, sap green, all sorts of greens in that one. I remember not being very happy with this one at the time, but now that I look back at it, I really like it. It looks quite magical. And as you can see, I've been very, very into dots. So if you've watched any of my other kind of like art tour videos where I've showed you any of my abstract art, you'll notice that there's just like millions of dots everywhere. And I'm not joking. I could draw dots for hours and hours. these are my favourite mark making tools here. So I've got a Posca pen, a gold gel pen and a micron pen. And I could just sit there with those pens for hours and hours and hours and draw dots. It looks like I even used some of my glitter gel pens in this one as well. So dots. I think these dots actually took a really long time. But I love the effect. It came out pretty good. So in this sketchbook, I use pads of the Arches watercolour paper that you can buy in pads. So one side is super textured, like the front side of the paper, and then the back side is a little bit less textured. You can still paint on it, absolutely lovely, and it works lovely, but it's not quite as textured. So I put that like on the middle bit of the signature here, and those were sort of the pages that I used to experiment on with other things. So with this signature, and by the way, if you're unsure of what a signature is, like I was when I first learned about bookbinding, when you bind books, a signature is like the little clump of papers that you put in and sew together. I'm not up on my bookbinding slang or anything, but yeah, and then I use like the middle bit on the first signature for just swatching. So where am I? So this was when I started to get another book, and I got this new colour, Rose of Ultramarine from Daniel Smith as well, which is just, what a beautiful colour. So I was just experimenting here, not really doing anything much in particular. I got this new book, Painting Calm, which I have promised you all a video on for so long. And this is another wonderful book that I haven't gone back to for quite a long time, actually, because I've just been inspired by other things. But yeah, I just had like a little experiment here using the Indanfrone blue. And then I tried some other little leaf shapes out here, but I definitely want to go back to this. I need to make myself another Arches watercolour sketchbook now. So those, I love these colours together. So this one was a project out of that book, the Painting Calm book, and the artist who wrote that book is Inga Buividavice. So I'll link all the books and I'll just link the books underneath. I won't bother linking all of the Daniel Smith materials or anything like that. But if you'd like to get inspired by those books as well, then I'll put affiliate links to those down in the description. This one was a funny one because it never really came out as I envisioned. But both of these are their own videos here on YouTube. And I'm glad to say that when I first painted this is when I really noticed that the Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolours dried sometimes really shiny and sticky. So you can still see somewhat of a shine here, especially here, with one of my watercolours. I'm not sure exactly what the colour was on here, but it was like a carmine. Might have been carmine, I can't remember. But it came out so sticky. So what I usually do is I have loads of leaves and sheets of paper that I put in between my pages. So I've got glassine paper. I've just got plain like printer paper, and I put it in between my pages just to stop the pages from sticking together, which I've taken out obviously for this video. But this does not seem to be sticky anymore, although it is still shiny, so that's good to know. But yeah, this one never came out how I envisioned. It was supposed to be like leaves, but it looks like, I don't even know. And what a strange colour palette as well, but experimenting. So although these look like finished artworks in here, I have been experimenting so much, and I class them all as sketches, like watercolour sketches, because I've just been sort of going with the flow and following intuition, and I've got no real... When I sit down to paint, I just go with an idea, and I don't really have much of a plan, do you know what I mean? And sometimes things like this come out. But this did make a good video. This one was fun, so I went and collected some leaves. And I painted the leaves from life, so I like moved it all around on my desk, painted leaf from life, and we're still in November here, so I did a lot of paintings in November by the looks of it. One of my favourite watercolours here. I don't really know what went on here with the patterns behind, but I really like it. I don't know like what it's supposed to be or anything. But after I did this, I was like, oh, it looks like the leaves are running through the water and whatever. But I love I can't remember what colour that one is, but this is Roman Small Misty Morning, and that is one of my favourite watercolours ever. Bit of coloured pencil in there as well, looks like, for some mark making. This one, when I did it, I didn't like it at all. I put it on Instagram and I had quite a lot of people asking me for a tutorial of how I did it and stuff, and then I was just thought, I don't even know how I did it. I just sat down and thought I'm going to do something a bit more abstract today. And that's what I did. And I didn't like it when I first did it, but I love it now. It's really cool. It's really, really nice. Some nice layering and like glazing on this one. So also Daniel Smith watercolours. Opera Pink. Beautiful, beautiful colour, that one. Another one of my favourite pages in here. So these are some of the Kuretake Gansai watercolours, or paints. I know some people don't like to call them watercolours, but I'm just going to call them watercolours for today's video. Yeah, so I wanted to do I think this colour palette was inspired by what was it? Frosty Mornings November palette prompts. I can't actually remember what the colour palette was of now, but obviously some really pretty pastel tones. And I wanted to do this nice pastel flower, which I've actually drew this or painted this. Sorry, this is not a flower, this is a leaf. I've actually painted this leaf a few different times in a few different ways in other sketchbooks and that. It's just a photo that I took myself, but it's just a really, really nice, easy thing to paint when I don't know what else to paint. And then I mixed Daniel Smith's Lunar Blue with Indanthrone Blue, and it created this amazing background, and of course gold dots. Bit of colour pencil in there as well. Here was just a little bit of experimenting again, using Painting Calm book. Then we have some more pebbles and circles, but using a different colour palette. So the colour palettes at this point were inspired by Seasonal Spice. So this would be the end of November now. I really, really loved this colour palette. And another one this is, where after I finished it, I wasn't really very keen on it, and never looked back on it for quite a while. But now I look at it, I love the mark making, I love the colour palette. It's very spacey, like I'm getting like proper like Martian-y vibes from this one. And the same with this one too, actually. It's kind of like Mars colour palette, I feel like, with this, like this colour. What is this colour called? I need to remember now because it's unbelievable. I use it in a moment on the next page. Got my little jar here of my tubes of watercolours. But is it geodite? Geodite? This is it. Hematite. Oh, that's the one. Hematite or hematite. Could be hematite. Could be hematite. So it's such an interesting colour because it's like a really dark grey black colour, and then it's got like a beige undertone to it. So if you can see, that's like a really light version of it there, and then that's quite dark. But you'll see on the, is it the next page? Yes, the next page I use it like big time for the background. But I love this blooming here and just how I did these little dots, and loads of fun. Such a relaxing way to do watercolour. So here we are. So this is that hematite genuine, or hematite. Somebody will have to tell me how to say that properly. But yeah, this one was inspired. I don't know what this one was inspired by. I loved painting leaves at this time. And yeah, I used that for the background, and then I used the orange colour palette that I was working on at the time for the leaves. But the way that paint works and the way it granulates is just fascinating. And it's one of the Primatech colours, so it's made from, like, I think so anyways, but Daniel Smith say that it's made from like the actual minerals and gemstones, so interesting. This one was fun. This one has got its own video here on YouTube as well, where I just talk about my mark making process. So that one was from the Creative Abstract Watercolour book as well. here we have two that I'm still unsure about today. So these we're in December now. Yeah, we're in December, and this one was supposed to be kind of like some sort of Christmas tree inspiration thing, but I don't really know what happened here. I like the bit inside the Christmas tree, but I wish I wouldn't have added this orange bit around, and I wish I just would have extended the purple down, so it would have actually looked like a tree, like an abstract tree. But it looks like celestial and spacey, which is always good for me. And then this one, I was just inspired to do like an abstract painting of a forest using one of my Winter Landscapes colour palettes. Then I have two Christmas drawings, or paintings, should I say. It's funny, isn't it, when you look back at like Christmas art when it's the middle of April. It's like I'm just not vibing with it at all, but love the way I did these gingerbread men, or gingerbread cookies. They were a lot of fun, and these are both their own tutorials. So at Christmas time, remember, there's two watercolour tutorials here on YouTube for you to follow. Then this one was also in December, so this was inspired by one of Katie Moody's reference photos from her Patreon, I believe. This one was lovely. Oh, that's right, I used watercolour pencils for this. So yeah, I used them everywhere actually. Watercolour pencils, the Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelle watercolour pencils. So that was a load of fun. I love those watercolour pencils. And then this is where we have the big break. So that was December 2024. And then I never went back to this sketchbook until, oh, the page here, but I'll show you that in a minute. So I never went back to this sketchbook until April. Nope, March, the end of March. So basically April, because that was like the end of March. But yeah, this one was in April. This one is a video as well. And this is for one of my colour palettes from April, I guess. So this one was really pretty. I did another one that I enjoyed it, but I wasn't 100% sure on it afterwards. But now I look at it, I like it. It's really nice. And I thought the colour palette was going to be too Christmassy at first, but it actually does bring some nice spring vibes out in me. So that's nice. These two are also videos on YouTube. They are done with Ferris wheel press ink. So we've got Whispers of Twilight here. And these were negative space paintings. So these were something really different for me and a lot of fun. And I have got some more of these inks on their way to me right now. So I'm looking forward to trying those out in the same sort of way. Love this one with the cactuses. And this ink colour is just gorgeous. And then we have the final two paintings in this sketchbook. And that is both artworks from the Creative Abstract Watercolour book. We've got a bit of... Hang on. So this is why I do like to put the sheets of paper in between sometimes, because any little bits of dust and that, your sheets of paper kind of catch them. And stop the artworks from rubbing against each other. So if you want to protect any pages in your sketchbooks, that's a good idea. But also, it's nice to just let them do what they want to do, I guess. So anyways, this was my last video, and these were the last two paintings to finish off this sketchbook. And I love them. I love this one the most. The Holbein Luminous watercolours were so much fun to play with, and especially these colours, the green, the yellow. So yeah, so I did actually like 3 of the irregular pebbles in here. I did 3 of these in here, so I've had so much fun with that book. And this sketchbook for me now holds really lovely memories. So finally, on the final page, we've got some mixes. So I mixed a few of the luminous colours together to create new colours and see what happened. And then I mixed them with a few of my Daniel Smith colours as well. I love this, the luminous pink with the Daniel Smith quinacridone gold. And then these ones here were just me making the perfect colours for a gingerbread man or gingerbread cookie. And that is it. So still, I can't believe I finished my first ever sketchbook. And I know it's more of like a watercolour art book, but as I said, like, it was all just very intuitive, and I never really had many plans before I went in on a page. I just sat down with my watercolours and had such a lovely time through every single one of these pages, and I'm really, really proud of it. I'm proud that I made the book, for one thing, and then I filled the entire book up with all of my artwork, and that just feels really, really good. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I am going to be making myself another one of these sketchbooks soon. I've ordered some fabric, which I'm really excited about. I also sell my handmade sketchbooks and art journals on my Etsy shop, which I'll link down below if you want to check anything out down there. I have 2 Arches watercolour sketchbooks on there at the moment, and they are a mixture between the hot press watercolour paper and the cold pressed as well. So it's like a nice mixture, and that's what I'm going to make for myself next time too. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. What I'm going to do for the rest of the day today is finish off my Buividavice challenge. So Buividavice is actually a January art challenge where you get 31 bird prompts in 31 days, and I actually got like halfway through and then I just fell behind, and I know it's the middle of April now, but I really want to finish off the challenges that I started. So I've got Buividavice, and then I've also got Katie Moody's 30 Days of Sketchbook Joy challenge, which I want to finish off. So as soon as I finish those challenges, I will do some like art tours of all the things that I made for those challenges. And hopefully I won't be too long now finishing off my little art creations sketchbook, which is absolutely bulging. I've done a lot of collage and stuff in here. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in my art, or just interested in seeing anything else from me, and don't forget to let me know what you thought of this video and which painting was your favourite in this sketchbook. Please let me know down in the comments. It's got to be these, right? Yeah, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video next week. Bye.